What's up, Eagles Nation? This is Bry with Eagles Real Talk, and I am the flyest covering the Eagles in the game. Thank you for joining me today. Today is Week 10 Power Rankings ERT edition, and let's jump straight into it. But before we do, you know what you got to do if you're new to the channel. Hit that subscribe button, get down with ERT. Let's go. All right, let's see who's at the bottom of the list. Okay, this is the bottom of the rankings. These are the worst teams in the NFL. Number 32, the Texans, 1-6-1. Besides Dameon Pierce, I mean, this team, it's almost hard to watch these guys play. They played solid against the Eagles on Thursday Night Football last week, but the Eagles only had a few days to prepare, so that was probably the best you're going to see of them the rest of the year. They may squeak in another win. Steelers, they're sitting at number 31 on the list at 2-6. Not a lot of talent on this team. Watt's been injured since I think week 1 or 2. Their defense isn't, much to even, talk about at this point. Fitzpatrick, he's all right, but besides that, this team is hard to watch as well. Raiders sitting at 2-6. They've given up 3 17-point leads this year. So they were up 17 points 3 times and ended up losing the game. Devontae Adams is just wasting his career over there already. It's looking like if they don't get rid of Carr in the offseason, get a new coach, just completely, the Raiders are in turmoil constantly. It seems like they're always in the news for nothing good as far as football related goes. Colts sitting at 3-5-1. They fired Frank Wright yesterday and they replaced him with the ex-Colt, Jeff Saturday, who's, he's a pretty good ESPN analyst, but I don't know if he can coach at the NFL level. So they're a pretty bad team as well. Panthers 2-5. PJ, he was looking solid at QB for a little bit, but after a rough start last game, they ended up benching him at halftime and putting in Baker Mayfield. We all know what Baker's capable of. Bottom 5 play. So this team is looking to tank and looking to draft a quarterback, hopefully for the future in their in their top 5 pick that they're about to have. Lions sitting at 2-6. Now they moved up a little bit because they beat the Packers, but at the end of the day, the Packers are also trash. So not much of a big leap for them, but hey, they squeaked in a win. But at this point, I don't know if they want to win because they're probably going to look to get a top 5 pick as well. Next up, Packers. They are just ahead. These teams are basically interchangeable. The Lions did beat them, but as the Packers are sitting 3-6, I did give them the edge over the Lions. But these are the bottom teams in the NFL, so it's not much to even talk about. But I will get into Aaron Rodgers and how big of a crybaby he's been all year. And honestly, I think it's most of his fault why they're not that good, despite them having rookies and younger guys as far as weapons go. He's been terrible. So I think he is the reason why they are sitting at number 26. The Jags 3-6. They're coached well by Dougie P. They're lacking some pieces on offense. Kirk, he started off the season really well, but he's kind of tapered down. Don't really hear his name anymore. So Christian Kirk, he's going to have to step it up if Trevor Lawrence is going to want to squeak in some more wins. But Travis, their running back, Etienne, he's a baller now. Last year he suffered an injury, so this year he's completely healthy and he's balling out. Cardinals sitting at 3-6. They got D-Hop back, but they have a lot of issues on offense, mainly the quarterback position. He just Murray just scrambles around. He doesn't really have a feel for, the offense. It seems like he's just, just trying to create plays out of nowhere. So they're sitting at number 24. Saints 3-6. This team is a mess, honestly. Horrible quarterback play, but they have a few solid pieces on defense. So they're at the 23 ranked position this week. The Rams, 22. They are sitting at 3-5. This team isn't good. Stafford has definitely digressed since the Super Bowl win. The team is missing Odell Beckham Jr., which I'm not really sure. Why don't they just bring him back and see if he can produce? But besides Cooper Kupp, this team isn't much. They don't have much talent on offense. They have no run game. So I see them sitting in between 20 and 25 the rest of the year. I don't have them making the playoffs. Bears are right in front of them at 3-6. Fields, at the beginning of the year, I was worried about Fields. I was wondering if he's going to start ascending a little bit and show us, some signs that he is an NFL caliber quarterback, and he's been doing it over the past couple weeks. It looks like he's starting to figure this out. So we'll see where they end up, but they're 3-6 and they're number 21 on my list. Broncos country, they not riding this year, but they are 3-5. They're coming off a win, so we'll see if Russ can squeak in a few more wins, but I have them as a bottom 10 team. Browns are sitting at 3-5. Chubb is leading the NFL in rushing yards with 841 yards. Cooper, he's solid, but besides that, their offense doesn't really impress me, but Deshaun Watson is about to make his return soon, so we'll see what they can do. Maybe they can squeak into the playoffs, never know. Washington 4-5. Taylor Heineke, he's been riding a 3-game win streak, but it was snapped by Minnesota. Chase Young will be back from a knee injury soon, so that could give them a boost on defense. Falcons are at 4-5, and they're number 17 on the list. I really actually like watching them play. Cordell Patterson is back. This is just a fun team that is going to run around, make some plays. Marcus Mariota, he's the quarterback. Who knows if he'll be the quarterback next year? But for this year, they're a little bit of fun to watch, and especially with Cordell Patterson coming back. Let's see if they can get their tight end Pitts more involved. I guess Mariota said something that he's going to try to get him more looks this next week, so we'll see what they do with that. The Bucs, major disappointment this year. Mike Evans is killing this offense. He's got the dropsies, he's dropping a lot of sure touchdown passes from Brady, but they did win the other day. We'll see if they can, snap on a few wins going forward, but I have them, they'll probably make the playoffs because they'll probably win that division because it's trash. Chargers 5-3, another disappointing team for me, but they are 5-3. They have a positive record. They're surviving despite some major injuries on offense. I think we jumped the gun on Herbert as far as him being a top 5 quarterback and things like that. Let's pump the brakes and let's see where he's at, going forward the rest of the season once he gets some weapons back. Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, a couple guys will be back soon, but who knows? Keenan Allen, his hamstring is a mystery at this point. Bengals are sitting right in front of them at 5-4. Jamar Chase, he is dealing with that hip injury. Who knows when he's going to be back? Joe Mixon went off the other day for 5 touchdowns, so they're on a bye week this week, so that's good for Jamar Chase as far as him coming back. Patriots are right in front of them, same record, 5-4. Ramondre Stevenson. Now, this guy's been one of my favorite players to watch, and I'm not just saying that because he's on my fantasy team. He's been balling out this year. He's a lot of fun to watch. He's good in the pass game. He's a hell of a runner. He's shifty. I like Stevenson, and they also have the leader in sacks this year on their team as well, sitting at 11.5 sacks. Judon. Titans. The Titans are 5-3. Man, they were so close to beating the Chiefs. I feel like the refs kind of had a little bit to do with that. They were giving the Chiefs a little help at home on a primetime game. So I have the Titans, even though they're 5-3. I feel like they could have been 6-2, so I gave them the edge over the Patriots and the Bengals. They're at number 12. Giants 6-2, probably the biggest surprise maybe of the year. I'm still shocked that they have six wins, considering they have nobody to throw to and, one of the worst quarterbacks in the league, but he's not turning over the ball as much, so, they don't look as bad when Daniel Jones doesn't throw picks and fumble the rock. Right in front of them at 4-4 is the 49ers. So Bosa's been consistent. He's tied second in sacks this year, and Jimmy G, he basically just has to manage the team, especially with CMC now on the team. That's a big weapon for him. So all he has to do, is take a few steps back and hand the ball off to CMC and let him do work. So I think Trent Williams should be coming back too. So they have a pretty solid team. 6-3 Seahawks. They're the number 9 team on the list. Geno has been cooking this year. Man, who's seen this coming? I didn't. I'll be one of those people to tell you, I'll keep it 100. I wrote Geno off. When he was looking to be the starter, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a bad year for the Seahawks, but he's been a pleasant surprise. It's been good to see, him ball out. He's had a tough career, and maybe he's found his landing spot in Seattle. Next up on the list, another big surprise. This may be a bigger surprise than the other New York team, the Giants. The Jets are sitting at 6-3, and they just beat one of the best teams in the NFL. We're gonna get to them in the next few rankings, but the Bills, they took it to the Bills, man. They took it to the Bills. Sauce, Reed, they got some dogs on that defense. They get to the quarterback. I like the Jets moving forward. I think they'll make the playoffs. They'll be a tough out, considering, they have a good defense. They have one of the best defenses in the league. Right in front of them is the Cowboys sitting at 6-2. Micah Parsons, he's been a game changer, except when they played the Eagles. We took it to them. We actually game planned perfectly to neutralize Parsons. So despite them being 6-2, they probably are higher on other lists, but I have them at number 7. Ravens 6-3. Now, they won without Andrews. That's basically, his only weapon. And I'm speaking of Lamar Jackson. That's really his only weapon. So he did really, he did a lot to elevate that team, get them a win on prime time. And I respect the Ravens for being 6-3 because they could, they're without Bateman, their run game. They don't have like a lot of stars. Dobbins has been out. They have a makeshift kind of team, but they're tough. I thought Harbaugh lost the team a few weeks ago, but, it seems like they're still playing hard for him. So, Harbaugh will remain. The Chiefs are sitting at 6-2. They struggled against the Titans. That's why I have them number 5 on the list. Some people have them number 2 as the number 1 team. Not over here. I look and see, they don't pass my eye test for one. Something is a little off about the Chiefs. Even though they are 6-2, they have a couple bad losses, especially to the Colts. Like, if you're a top team in the league, you can't be losing to the Colts, period. So with that said, Kelsey, he's a beast. Travis Kelsey, Jason Kelsey's brother, he's a beast. So they're a lot to deal with on offense, but their defense is just solid. I think they are a lot to be desired for in the run game. I don't think the Chiefs are the best team in the NFL. I'll just go ahead and say that. That's why they're number 5 on this list. Now, we're in the top 4, and I call this the Fantastic Four. The top 5, top 6, those are like teams that I feel like are contenders that could make the Super Bowl. But the Dolphins, I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on the Dolphins. Tua, every time he's played, he started the game and finished the game, they win. So I think that's pretty impressive, and they're sitting at 6-3. So all those games, all those wins, he was on the roster. He was starting. He played the whole game, and they won. So I feel like with the addition of Tyreek Hill, Waddle doing his thing, they've been balling over there. The top pass game in the league for sure. So with that said, let's move to the number 3 spot. So the Vikings are at 7-1. Their only loss is to the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles. So I feel like people are kind of sleeping on them. I feel like they kind of are looked at as like a soft team, and maybe they are a little soft, but they have Justin Jefferson. They just traded for Hawkinson, so now they have a top tight end for Captain Kirk to throw to. So I feel like they're a pretty solid roster, and I have them as the number 3 ranked team in the league. They have the second best record after the Eagles. Now, the top 2, Bills, they're 6-2, right? But Josh Allen has a UCL injury in his throwing arm. It's like a nerve injury. That could hamper their offense going forward because he didn't look right, It looked like a painful injury. Whenever you're dealing with like an injury to your throwing arm, there's a lot going on. So with that said, I have them at 6-2 because I still feel like they're the best team in the AFC. But with that said, the Dolphins and the Chiefs and the Ravens are right behind them, and they could pass them up next week. Now, Philadelphia Eagles are sitting at number 1 on the list. Okay, they are 8-0. They just came off, a big win on Thursday Night Football to go 8-0, obviously. And now they have a divisional matchup against the Commanders on Monday Night Football. Taylor Heineke will be at the helm, like I talked about earlier. I feel like the Eagles are just going to take it to them on Monday Night Football. I think it could be a massacre type of game. We have, two top corners in Bradbury and Slay on the outside. We have a crazy pass rush. Our linebackers are flying all over the field making plays. Our safety, C.J. Gardner, has 5 interceptions. You can just look around on that defense and be like, whoa, I need to be careful where I throw the ball. And I think Taylor Heineke is going to have that in the back of his head. And I believe he threw a pick 6 to Slay last year to seal the game for the Eagles. So that may play a little factor. Football is 50% mental, 50% physical as far as I'm concerned. You got to have both, mesh right in the middle to be a great team, to be a great player. And I feel like the mental side of Taylor Heineke is going to come out, and I think he's going to throw 2, maybe 3 interceptions. And I feel like Monday night is going to be a massacre for the Washington Commanders. The Eagles are going to take over again, on primetime football. They're going to show the world why they are the best NFL team in the National Football League. And that's where we sit. Tomorrow we'll have another video. I'm going to give the Eagles grades this season. I'm going to give some mid-season awards for the whole entire league. And we're at the midway point. We're halfway through the season. The playoffs are approaching little by little by little by little. I can't wait, especially for these top 12, top 14, 15 teams. It's going to be good. It's going to be good TV watching them going forward to see who makes the best push towards the playoffs to get the the best spot in the playoffs. Obviously, I feel like the Eagles are going to go 17-0 this year. Even if they drop a game or two, I feel like they're still going to finish at the top of the NFL and get that first round bye. And I feel like this year it's very important to have that first round bye. You get some rest, and obviously you get ready for the second week of the playoffs. So with that said, I'm Bry. This is Eagles Real Talk. Keep it real always. I'll see you on the next video. Peace out.